So good morning, another foundering car, and today we will discuss the difference between a sports car and a hot hatch. So first, start with the purest of the pure, the sports car. This car is developed to give you the best experience, that you have a nice driving experience. That's the main cause of the development of the sports car. So there are more of a race car type of cars that are specifically developed for performance, also hyper sports cars. But a regular sports car, for example a Mazda MX-5 or the Toyota MR2 or Lotus Elise, Lotus Exige, those cars are all developed to give you a very good experience in everyday driving, and also not necessarily be the fastest thing on the roads, but they are very involving. And also, if you look at those cars that I just mentioned, they are all two-seaters. So normally the sports cars adventure is specifically for a limited amount of people that can just experience it. And in that way, because this there for pleasure, sports car is there for pleasure, and it is there as a how to say this very respectfully, it is a toy. Very often also people with a sports car also have another car for daily practices, which they really love. And that brings me to the other car, being the hot hatch. And hot hatch stands for hot hatchback, a little bit shorter. And the hatchback is there primarily as a tool. So not a toy, but a tool to give you easy accessibility to the hatchback design. Also offers you plenty of room for the size that it comes in to load up people, and also, for example, groceries or other things that you have to carry. The thing is, the hatchback is there primarily to serve, not so much for pleasure, but to serve. And then the hot hatch, what is that kind of species? So it tries to combine the pleasure part of the sports car with the practicality of a hatchback, and therefore called a hot hatch. That being said, hatchbacks often seat up to 5 people, and a sports car normally up to 2. And also sports cars are normally a lot lighter. So a lightweight design, of course, gives you ample benefits in the form of pleasure. Why? Because a lighter car will feel more nimble, more involving. You will feel it directly to your steering wheel, easier braking, easier taking corners, and also easier accelerating without overheating your system. So you can really enjoy that plating, that toy, for long periods of time. And they will also normally will cope well with a occasional track day, etc., etc. Whereas the hatchback design often is a lot heavier, bigger. It also has to fulfill roles of giving sufficient speed, but for local conditions. But that doesn't mean it has to be a rocket, of course. A normal hatchback, and also has to accommodate as a person and cargo carrier. Also, the safety rules oftentimes are quite harsh, because you also have to guarantee safety for 5 people if you're carrying 5. So that makes it a different animal, and also very often a lot heavier type of animal. And why is that? Because the added safety and added technology, also the luxuries, oftentimes, especially in a hot hatchback, which is more in the premium segment of the hatchback, a lot higher than that you will see in a focused sports car, which is there for driving pleasure, not so much your audio system and the likes. So the drawback of the general hatchback and also the general hot-hatch, because they have more powerful engines, so they have to have bigger tires, bigger brakes to also come to a halt at higher speeds, etc., and added safety and other systems for traction, for example, are very heavy. So for example, those sports cars are all approximately 1000 kilograms or a little bit below, sometimes a little bit over. For example, 350Z, 370Z is a little bit over, but they are still quite light. Whereas if you're looking at hot-hatches, they are often the weight of the 350Z, 370Z or even higher. And why is that? Because they have all the additional room. And 350Z, 370Z is already a heavy sports car because it has a 3.5, 3.7 liter engine. Which also means that all the other components need to be bigger and heavier. Okay, that being said, there are some hot-hatches that offer even better performance in sports cars because they have, for example, all-wheel drive, turbocharged engine, for example Audi RS3, which is more of a hyper-hatch in my opinion, but it gives you a little bit more of a connotation. But there are also some hot-hatches that have the weight of, for example, a very light sports car, e.g. a Mazda MX-5, but do seat 5 people and have all the luxury that you might need for your travel also in place. For example, the car that I'm sitting in, the Suzuki Swift Sport ZC33S. I will give you a little bit more view, some details, but also first some overview. You see here the flattened out steering wheel, nice accents all through, lots of cubage space all around, nice navigation system, also quite some room, even up to 5 people, so 2 at the front like a sports car, also sport seats, but 3 additional seats at the rear and the trunk, so it gives you quite some benefit. But it does this at a weight lower even than the Mazda MX-5, which only seats 2 people. And the Mazda MX-5, the lightest version, is 1.5 liter. This has a 1.4 liter with a turbo, which the Mazda does not have, on addition, with an intercooler, which the Mazda MX-5 does not have, and an electric engine and a battery, and still weighing that little. And how can this be? Because in contrary to a Mazda MX-5, which has the engine at the front, but putting the power to the rear wheels, this has the engine at the front and putting the power to the front wheels. So you don't have a tunnel here for your Cardan S or axles, Cardan axles and other axles to transfer the power from the front to the rear, because the power is now directly to the wheels where the motor is sitting above. And that's the best design. That's because it also gives you, you saw the interior, but the exterior is very limited in size proportions. There you see a sports car, BMW Z4, and here you see this Swift Sport hot-hatch. And the dimensions of this car are a lot less than that car. As you also see the long bonnet accompanying the engine. And it is because in the rear-wheel drive car the engine is directed in this direction, so it needs a longer bonnet. Whereas a front engine, front-wheel drive car, it can be in this direction, which is a lot shorter, and that you can see as well. Hope you like this illustration. Have a great day.